been a number of shootings here recently. Some of them they call them mass shootings, and mass shooting is kind of a generic, really no actual true definition of a mass shooting, depending on what definition you're using. Some of these would be considered mass shootings, some are just shootings, whatever. But regardless, there's been a pretty high number of shootings recently in the United States. And while this is always very tragic things when you see these shootings, when these happen, the left is still using these tragedies to try and push a narrative that is going to do absolutely nothing to actually stop these criminals from committing these acts of violence. And I think that's the biggest thing that we need to focus on, is that these are not going to stop. What the left is trying to push is not going to stop any of these acts of violence. We need to be trying to increase our obviously gun safety is a big thing that I believe we need to, obviously I think it's a very important thing, gun safety. But I think we need to try and open it up and try and make it where it's we don't need more gun laws. We need more law-abiding citizens that have the ability to defend themselves. We need to eliminate a lot of these gun-free zones, because that's where the majority of these actually happen, are in gun-free zones. Look at schools and stuff. And as far as schools, I think the biggest thing that we need to be doing right now for schools, I do believe that we need to be having people that are able to defend these schools, to defend these kids right now, because let's be honest, reaction time from police to schools is never quick enough. If we had somebody in there that has the ability to try and stop these events before they happen, that is the greatest defense you can have. So whether it's hiring armed guards or school resource officers, whatever, that are armed, that are able to stop these things before they actually start, or at the very least, and I'm not saying that I want all teachers carrying, but at the very least, at least have a handful of teachers that have the ability. Obviously, if you're having teachers or even resource officers or whatever, they need to go through training. They need to go through special training to be able to carry within schools. I do believe that. I have no problem with them having extended training and whatnot, because that's something that I think is important. That's very important. I think in situations like that, you need to have that extra training, whatever. So I think I do think we need to actually have people in schools that have the ability to defend these kids, because right now that is one of the most vulnerable points right now in the United States. For these kids in schools, it's just a place that should be safe, and there's no reason. We protect our politicians. We protect money with armed guards, with people with guns. Why the hell are we not doing that with our children in schools? It just makes, because the whole point is that I'm trying to make right here is because that would make sense. Protecting our kids with people that are armed with armed guards or guns makes complete sense if you actually think about it, and there's nobody that can actually argue against it with a legitimate argument, because the only thing that they can come up with is they don't want guns. They don't like guns, so they don't want anybody to have guns. Well, that's not the way it works. The Second Amendment is part of the Constitution because it gives us the ability to fight a tyrannical government, or to fight tyranny, because the founding fathers knew that this day was coming. And boy, I tell you what, this day it's come right now, and the left is fighting hard against what our founding fathers actually fought for, and it's scary. It is completely scary. It's something that I don't know. It's very scary right now. I do believe that we need to have, we need to protect our kids, and I believe the only way to do that right now is to actually put armed guards in schools. And the shootings, suicide's a whole nother, I can go on a whole nother video and talk for a long time about it. But COVID, we're seeing a lot of the mental aspects of the COVID year, and seeing a lot of the mental breakdowns, a lot of the mental aspects. We're seeing more of this because of COVID, and you cannot argue again. There's no way you can convince me that a lot of these mental health issues that we're seeing, these extended mental health issues and kids falling behind, is because of COVID. COVID has killed more. There's been more deaths because of the after effects of COVID than there was been from COVID. You cannot convince me otherwise. It is what it is. But regardless, that's a whole nother topic, whole nother scenario. But regardless, I do think we need to protect our kids. I think we need to eliminate a lot of these gun-free zones, let people protect themselves. I do believe that if you do carry, I think you need to go through some training. I am perfectly 100% for going through training, understanding how how to shoot a gun, how you handle a gun, understanding gun safety, everything that way. Go through training. I am 100% for training with guns, but especially when you're around kids and stuff in schools, I do believe we need to have armed people that have the ability to stop these shootings, especially in schools, before they start. And that's what I've been saying for a number of years, and I think it's coming to the point of, I think we're past the point of teachers carrying, and I think we need to have armed guards in all schools. I think that's the only way that we need to go, and I think if the politicians actually would sit down and talk and actually try and solve something, that would be the biggest way to solve a lot of these problems. Don't let them start in the first place. And the only way to do that is to stop them, when it comes to have people there that can stop them before it gets to that point.